Welcome back to another video, everybody, and today we're going to be talking about Samurai and the recent changes that they've made or are going to make in 6.1 regarding Kaiten here. Now, I have recently started playing Samurai in this expansion as through leveling and playing raids for a while, I have actually realized that this job is my personal favorite this expansion. And while it changes from expansion to expansion, I currently really enjoy the way Samurai plays. So I want to emphasize that before I give any criticism to anything, because, I mean, quite frankly, it's good to just express that you actually know something about what you're talking about before you go on the internet and talk about it. So, let's talk about these changes and, quite frankly, just the issues that come up with them. Now, a lot of people have already stated the problem with these changes. There's been a lot of people, well, a lot bigger than I am, that have already said something about it, right? And this video is mostly pointless because there's probably going to see theirs before they see mine. But I like making content, and I also like talking about video games, and that is the whole point of this channel existing. So, let's talk about this change. So number one, let's go over the crit things. This is another change that, quite frankly, people have been talking about for a while, and it's getting worse and worse with every time they do it. Now, is it their particular fault that they put all of the damage into two abilities? Yes and no, right? Those abilities are supposed to be your hard hand abilities. Every class has an ability that is just a huge burst, right? That's part of the fun of the ability, is like, that's the ability you get, and you get really excited because you're about to do, like, you know, fucking 1,000 potency or some other dumb shit that they put on there, right? The only issue with that is that there is a necessity now for it to crit, because if it doesn't crit, it's going to have a huge disparity. They are completely correct about that, and changing it to a crit is a good change in the context of the way the job works and the way the potencies are spread. Now, we can argue all day that we should just spread the potencies out evenly, and it'll be good and done. And that's true to an extent, but let's not lie, we all like seeing the big number when we press the funny ability, right? It's something that we all like. Everybody likes it, liked it in Shadowbringers when they would press their Blood Lily and see 100k crit above the boss. That was something that everybody enjoyed. And if you say you didn't, or you didn't care, you're lying. I do not care. You are lying. You are 100% lying. Everybody liked big number. So it is what it is. And complaining about that when that's something that's straight up not going to change, every class is always going to have a bursty ability like that, is utterly pointless. So let's talk about what we have now and discuss what might be a change going forward that might be a good idea. So, let's say they want to continue doing this, which they are 100% going to continue doing, by the way, where they just make things like auto-crit. Communio's probably up next, and there's probably a bunch of other jobs with burst things that are up next on the guaranteed crit block. And this does two things. And the main thing that is most impactful, other than melds, of course, is, well, damage buffs. There are now going to be 3 jobs that Samurai can't use their buffs at all. Like, it literally doesn't do anything. One of them is Scholar, which is a meta job, and literally is in almost every party composition right now. They can't make use of Dragoon's Battle Litany, which it's right here. So they can't make use of that, which is unfortunate. They can't make use of Dancer's, what is it, Devilment? Sorry, I don't play Dancer that much, so I have to look at the name. They have no synergy with that either anymore. And so, yeah, pretty much anything that buffs their crit, they no longer synergize with, which, I mean, quite frankly, isn't great, right? We want to be able to synergize with our teammates, and especially after the changes in Endwalker that makes pretty much everything a 2-minute window burst, to help synergize better with each other, this is something that's going to need to be addressed eventually, right? So I think one thing that Square Enix really needs to do going forward, and just in general, something that's been really long overdue, honestly, is just remove damage buffs that affect crit and direct hit entirely, honestly, and just make them flat damage buffs. It just doesn't work, and it's going to continue to not work until every job in the game doesn't synergize with each other anymore, because they have one ability that does a lot of damage that you now have to make force crit. Otherwise, they're going to have a huge damage disparity between if they crit or not on those abilities, right? So this is going to be a problem that persists until they do change something like that. So that's the first thing they definitely need to look into, and I think you guys over there in Square Enix Studios, you know, making job changes, I hope you guys maybe consider that in the future, so that you can make changes like that and it won't do anything other than be a complete positive for everyone, really, right? Including Warriors. I know they'll be very excited about something like that, because the gorillas over there have been, you know, they've been suffering with the guaranteed crit and direct hits for a while now, right? Then let's talk about button bloat, because that's something that they went over in the live letter and the reason for removing chitin. There is a lot better options that you can pick that would solve the same problem to actually a better degree. Honestly, it would be an even better solution, and you'd save more buttons than if you were to go the chitin route, because chitin only gets rid of one button and does no quality of life changes. So let's talk about some things that you can do to reduce button bloat on Samurai. Combine Iki Shoten and Oganama Kiri. Those abilities just make Iki Shoten transform into Ogi when you press it, because there's no reason why that couldn't be a thing. And then just make it a 3-button transition skill. And to anybody that says they can't do that, or that might be hard, guys, Gunbreaker exists, and Gnashing Fane is a 3-button transition on 1 button. So they can do that and keep the full Oganama Kiri. They can combine Sene and Gurin and make just Sene AoE. They can combine Shoha and Shoha 2 and just make it single target and AoE. And of course, finally, they can combine Shinten and Kyuten. And there you go. That's 4 buttons saved that are pointlessly spread out, and there you go, right? It's a much simpler solution. It doesn't require you to go in and change potencies, because you're definitely going to have to change all the potencies for Iijitsus now, because if you don't, then, I mean, quite frankly, you just nerfed Samurai's damage. And doing this, you save 4 buttons, and you didn't get rid of anything that was important to the job's identity, or just in general affected the flow of the way the job plays, right? You have effectively just made a quality of life change, and you've also not upset anybody. So that's my suggestion for Samurai changes. It's pretty much the same as everyone else that I've seen, but I just wanted to talk about it and maybe do it in a more constructive manner, in my own voice and style, right? On Meet Cat Girl that I've recently made. So that is all for this video. I might make a video later about something else. We'll see. If you have any suggestions or anything you want to see from me, put it down in the comments below. Peace, love each other, be good to each other. Adios.